If you're an entrepreneur, you know the pressure to succeed is, well, it's immense. And it often comes at a huge personal cost. But what if there was a strategic way to handle all that pressure without torching your well-being or your business? Okay, let's dive right into the STOP framework. Think of it as a powerful guide for navigating the super high-stakes world you live in every day.
Man, this really just hits you, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that feeling when the passion, the very thing that got you started, just starts to fade, all under the weight of that relentless pressure. It's a feeling way too many founders know firsthand.
And look, this isn't just a feeling, it's a full-blown, measurable crisis. Just look at these numbers. Research from Harvard Business Review shows that almost half, 42% of business owners, are experiencing burnout. But here's the one that really gets me. From the University of California, nearly 3/4 of entrepreneurs, 72%, are directly impacted by a mental health condition. Just let that sink in for a second. This is not a personal failing, it's a systemic business problem.
So in this explainer, we're going to tackle this thing head-on. We'll kick things off with the real cost of burnout. Then I'll introduce you to the STOP framework. We'll break down its internal and external strategies, and we'll wrap up with a concrete action plan you can literally start using today.
First things first, let's get a really clear picture of what we're up against and why ignoring this is so incredibly dangerous, not just for you, but for your business too.
So let's start with a solid definition so we're all on the same page. Mental health isn't about having zero problems. I mean, come on, every founder has those. It's really the foundation for how we navigate those problems. As you can see, it directly affects how we think, feel, and act. And that means it is at the absolute core of our decision-making, our creativity, and our leadership, every single day.
You know, the whole hustle culture loves to glorify speed, but working at a breakneck pace all the time, it's actually the opposite of productive. It just leads to mental fatigue, and that's when costly mistakes happen and the quality of your work starts to slide. The big takeaway here? Please, do not confuse motion with progress. They are not the same thing.
And this just brilliantly nails the stakes. Your greatest asset, by far, is your mind. When it's running on empty, it doesn't just slow you down, it can actively sabotage the very empire you're working so damn hard to build.
Okay, now that we've really established the problem, let's talk about the solution. This is where the STOP framework comes in. It's a strategic tool for building sustainable success.
So, the framework is built on 4 simple but really powerful pillars. S is for slow down, which is all about strategic pacing. T is for tune inward, focusing on self-awareness. O is for open your hands, which is just a great way of saying strategic delegation. And finally, P is for persist without cost, which is about building sustainable resilience.
Let's jump into the first 2 pillars, S and T, and see how they create our internal reset. This is all about changing how you think before you go and change what you do. Now, slowing down doesn't mean stopping, it's about being more deliberate. As you can see here, we've got 5 really practical ways to do this. You can use focused work sprints like the Pomodoro technique, literally schedule thinking time into your calendar, and try to limit your active projects to just 2 or 3. You can also bring in some mindless activities like a walk or a simple hobby, just to give your brain a break. And, honestly, establishing a no meeting day can be a total game changer for getting that deep, focused work done.
Tuning inward is all about building that self-awareness. And it can be as simple as a 10-minute daily meditation, there are tons of apps for that, or even just starting meetings with a quick 30-second grounding exercise. Oh, and here's a good one. Taking a one-on-one meeting for a walk can actually boost creativity by up to 60%.
And there is real science backing all of this up. This quote from Forbes really highlights that mindfulness isn't just some wellness trend. It physically changes your brain. It helps shift you out of that reactive, fight-or-flight leadership mode and into a more controlled, thoughtful, and ultimately a much more resilient state of mind.
Okay, so with that internal mindset reset in place, let's pivot to the external strategy. This is about how you manage your work and your team using the O and P of our framework.
Opening your hands. It's all about letting go through smart delegation. It starts with a simple task audit. What do you have to do? What can you delegate? And what can you just get rid of entirely? But the real key, and this is so crucial, is to delegate authority, not just tasks. When you do that, you're not just offloading work, you're actually empowering your team to become leaders themselves.
And that empowered team is the foundation for our final pillar, persist without cost.
This is where your personal resilience scales up to create organizational resilience. You're building a business that doesn't just survive challenges, but actually thrives because of them.
And hey, if you need a solid business case for this, here it is. McKinsey found that resilient organizations saw shareholder returns grow by a massive 120% during stable times. So building resilience isn't just a defensive move, it's a powerful strategy for growth.
So theory is great, but execution is everything, right? Let's make this super real with a simple 30-day action plan to get you started on the right foot.
We've broken it down week by week so it's not overwhelming. Week 1, you start small. Try out the Pomodoro technique and a 10-minute meditation. Week 2, you create some space by setting up a no-meeting day. By week 3, you're delegating after doing that task audit. And in week 4, you're building out your long-term resilience plan. You can see how each step just builds on the last, creating real momentum towards a much more sustainable and effective way of working.
So what's the big payoff here? Well, it's not just about feeling better. These personal wins translate directly into powerful business outcomes. Lower stress for you means increased productivity and better focus for the whole company. Better mental health leads to higher team satisfaction. See, this isn't a trade-off. It's a true win-win.
So let's end on this thought. The dream you're building needs all of you, healthy, focused, and whole. The real question isn't whether you can afford to do this. It's whether you can afford not to. So what's the one small thing you're going to do this week to get started?